insiders, and welcome to another edition of the Price List Update Summary series. We are here, Mark Whatley, President and Founder of Actionable Insights, Seth Harrison, Executive Director of Actionable Insights. We are here to discuss the changes and additions to the August 2020 price list of Xactimate. There are 15 new line items, so this is going to be an exciting one. Whatley, you and I have been looking at or hoping that some of these line items would be added to the price list for a long time now, so exciting. This is also an exciting week in general for Actionable Insights in that our Facebook group, Xactimate Ninjas, designed for contractors and adjusters to ask questions about sketching and scoping and all things Xactimate. There are now 7,000 members in that Facebook group, Xactimate Ninjas. So this is awesome because Actionable Insights, all we ever try to do is help. And now there is 7,000 people. There are 7,000 people helping each other every day in this group. It's one of the most active groups in restoration on Facebook. So we're actually going to be doing a drawing during this video to give away one of the Actionable Insights gun bags that we have. There's only a few in existence. So this is an exciting opportunity for somebody and obviously a way for us to thank those that are joining the group, participating in the group, and helping each other in Xactimate. We also have a little socks giveaway here for those that participated in our most frequently used line item in July contest. So we'll get to that at the end, but straight up in the front, we're here to talk line items in Xactimate. So without further ado, let's jump to the top here. There are 3 new line items here, 1, 2, and 3, specifically related to detaching cabinets with temporary shoring. Cabinet lower unit with shoring detach, cabinet lower base unit detach after hours, and then the cabinet lower reset, so with shoring reset. What do you think about these new line items?
I think that they've been a long time coming, and that was championed by just yesterday. You and I received a line item request form for the detaching of lower cabinets with shoring. As stated here, and then boom, here it is. So somebody's going to think that you're a miracle worker, but it really had little to do with that request. But you and I have been receiving this request from our membership for years, both from the carrier side and contractor side, because the staff adjusters, executives, that I've worked with as a claims manager, and you serve on the board, they've wanted ways to incentivize contractors to do great work by retaining the countertops, but there wasn't a clear way to do that. And if we want to encourage that behavior, which manages overarching severity, it's a bummer when a staff adjuster can't really find a way within Xactimate to incentivize contractors to do great work. And so this is one of those line items that I love because it really constrains overarching severity. It encourages contractors to do great work and do the really nuanced things that only a regular, only a restoration contractor can do. A regular remodel contractor, Harrison's not going to be that equipped to come in and extract lower cabinets and retain the slab like that. If you even ask them to do that, they would be just generally bewildered by how one would accomplish such a thing.
Yeah, you know what? Let's pause for a moment. Let's jump into the additional item information because this is an important one. Why don't you talk people through exactly this activity? I'm sure some people out there that are like, what are you talking about shoring up these countertops and whatever? Like, explain what's happening here and why, this line item may be more expensive than the original line items in just detaching and resetting lower base. Yeah. But our stance here is you're actually lowering overall cost of the claim by pursuing this activity. So highlight the activity and the costs associated with it.
All right, so say that there was the refrigerator line that burst, a 1/4-inch line behind the refrigerator, and say that refrigerator is there to the right. So presumably all the toe kicks in the lower cabinets, especially if the cabinet had a backer, they would be fully saturated, compromised. Everything's made out of MDF nowadays. So we've got to extract those cabinets, right? So one thing that's not affected in this case is the countertop. So the countertop can remain there unencumbered if you can elegantly extract those cabinets out. And so in order to do that, you're going to typically use a shoring device, which will ratchet up in there and hold the countertops as you pragmatically pull 1 or 2 linear feet out of the countertop at a time. But in order to do that, like, it takes some thought and some skill for sure. It's not that easy to do. It's really easy to crack these. It's really easy to bust, the miter joint, the 45 in that corner, to bust that, and chipping, and then how it relates to the backsplash, right? There's a lot of ways to lose the countertop. But to the extent that you do preserve it, and I like how this line item reads, it says while preserving. So it's implying that one would only bill for this line item to the extent that you successfully preserved the slab. So that's an important thing to keep in mind here. As restorers, we shouldn't just be using this line item like, oh, it exists, it pays more. No, we should be using these line items when we thoughtfully shored up this countertop in a way that's safe. And that safety is important, because I know of a contractor, Harrison, that ended up in a lawsuit because there was some 4-year-old kid that went into the containment area in the kitchen, and they pulled down the countertop, and the kid didn't die, but the kid was really hurt, right? And so it's really easy for that to happen if you don't make adequate concessions to tie that countertop back into the 2x4s and the wall, etc. So it has to be done thoughtfully, but it can be done. And now you're essentially getting rewarded $10 per linear foot for doing so. So that's a line item to be excited about, no matter where you sit in the claim.
Yeah, I like the highlighting as well here that these detaching cabinetry with shoring, those line items are in the WTR category code. So they're expecting these activities to be performed in the mitigation phase by cleaning and remediation technicians. And then accurately, the reset of this cabinetry is in the cabinetry category code.
And so that's an interesting notion too. We should focus on line item 3 for a sec.
Yeah.
Resetting these lower cabinets is going to be made more difficult, obviously, by having to deal with the fact that there's countertop above it, right? Because you kind of have to get the shoring out from under and drop the lower in, and those inefficiencies are getting recognized here at a rate that is what, $22 a linear foot.
Yeah,
So
this is the San Diego August 2020 price list.
So anyhow, those inefficiencies are getting represented potentially as accurately as they could be for resetting it. So there's going to take more labor to reset that baby. And so that's the delta between those two. And, that's pretty clear without even unpacking the components. So
I love it.
Those are solid.
There's a new line item that allows contractors to do great work and reimburse the policyholder fairly are added. Anytime those line items are added, we're a big fan. So this is an awesome opportunity for those that are pursuing activities to save countertops with temporary shoring to be reimbursed fairly in pursuing those activities and successfully saving the countertop. So that's awesome. Let's jump now to the high grade flooring. There was 3 additions here for end molding, reducer strip, and T molding. Note that there were no high grade line items previously for end molding, reducer strip, or T molding. Each one has a note that says, for use with laminate, engineered, or pre-finished wood floors. So now we have a high grade opportunity with these particular materials.
Yep.
One that you and I were excited about when we were reviewing is this Scribe Board. Previously, you'll see line item 30 here next to it. We had a hardwood filler Scribe Board, but we never had a pre-finished hardwood line item. What's the significance of this addition?
Well, the significance is that 90% of the time when a cabinetry subcontractor is going to be putting in Scribe Board, it's going to be pre-finished anymore. That's just the way things have gone for cabinetry. It's really rare that they're putting in hardwood and staining it to match. So this is a good addition because it represented the way things have gone in cabinetry over the last 20 years. I mean, almost everything is prefabricated for cabinets nowadays, for good or for bad. So this is it's going to be used quite a bit more than hardwood will be used moving forward. And what was happening with hardwood is you would have to come back and you'd pre-stain the hardwood, and then you'd stain the hardwood, and then it became, well, where does that stop and start? And then how do you feather that in with the existing, and then so on. So I think for our ability to settle these claims swiftly, this was the best approach, because I think often restorers were billing for the hardwood, and then some, clever estimators that were, more aggressive were billing for all the auxiliary line items, even though they probably weren't doing it, Harrison. They were really just using a pre-finished piece of wood, but there wasn't a clear path to this line item. So now this allows the carrier to, essentially maybe constrain some of the claim cost, But by and large, it gives the restorer a few more bucks for what they're probably doing anyways. So it's a good addition to the price list.
Yeah, one thing I want to highlight here between the components of these two line items. If you go into the unit price section and you jump in, you'll see the labor between these two, the pre-finished and the normal or the unfinished. The labor is the same. So the actual replacing of this hardwood labor is similar. The difference, the major difference, is the actual hardwood itself. In the normal, you have 2.918. In the new line item for the pre-finished, it's gone up from 2.9 to 4.7. So obviously pre-finished hardwood more expensive, and the material component of that line item reflects it. There are some new panels and roofing line items. 3 in the MTL category, metal category, 3 in the roofing. So you got some wall roof panels, corrugated, 26 gauge galvanized, 26 gauge agriculture, ribbed, and then similar with the metal roofing in the roofing categories here. What do you think of these new line items here?
Yeah, I mean, open up that line item for line item 10, the picture. I've never adjusted for the Farm Bureau, Harrison. I don't know, man. This is like other structures and what happens when a tornado rips through the Midwest, man. So here's some options for wall and roof panels, and try to pick the one that is most appropriate to your scenario. I think the thing to really keep an eye out there that creates a material delta in cost is whether it's galvanized or non-galvanized. So I wouldn't be able to add anything to that beyond here they are.
I like it. They exist. Lastly, we had 2 line items added around conference room cameras and mounting equipment. One is for replacing, and one is for the full detach and the reset. Significant cost difference in between them. And in analyzing this, I wanted to actually jump into the additional item information. There are a few line items in Xactimate that have this language here. Xactimate recommends user verify material component pricing and make any adjustments as needed. So this is Xact's way of recognizing that when it comes to actual camera and mounting equipment, the quality, cost associated with it can be wildly different. And so this is them making an effort to have a line item in there that says, look, this is probably average for what it would cost to perform this. But you, the user, need to verify pricing associated with this materials and what you're installing or detaching and resetting, and make sure that it reflects in the final estimate here. So anytime, there's only a handful of line items that say Xactware recommends the user verify and update. So anytime that exists, we'd like to highlight it in these activities here. Now, there were a few line item changes here. As you can see on the right hand of my screen here, we're going through the August 2020 price list updates. I've got 4 to discuss here, really. First off, let's see here. I will bring up the July here, August here, July here. So yield changes. We've got July on the left, August on the right. Let's look what's changed here. TV brackets, wall mounted, ceiling mounted, and detach and reset around it. Let's just go into the yields here of the TV brackets wall mounted as you go into the labor unit here. Direct yield in July was 1.5. So they're saying that you could, replace wall mounted TV brackets about 1.5 in an hour. And now they are updating it to 3. So it's actually doubled. The yield has doubled. And as we've talked about in our various training, yield and price. I've got yield here and price here. There's an inverse relationship. So if yield goes up, the price goes down. So yield doubled and the associated RCV went down for the overall unit price here. Additionally,
before you move forward against the TV brackets,
yeah.
I just recognized in looking at this what's probably happening. So I don't think the pricing department woke up one day and said, you know what, let's half the prices for the labor for TV brackets. I think what they're observing is a systemic pattern of televisions being wildly lighter than they were when these line items were originally adopted. And one of the things that make it really cumbersome and time consuming to install a television is when they're really heavy. So think of a plasma television circa 2006, right? It's like 4.5 inches thick and the thing weighs hundreds of pounds, like a 65 inch. It's miserable, right? And now these things are wafer thin and they weigh maybe a sixth of what they used to, which make them a lot easier to work with, and would champion why an installer could install so many more per hour.
That makes a lot of sense. When I open up the yields associated with the labor around the detach and reset line items of these TV mounts, check this out. 0.9 previously, 0.9, now 2.2. So that would make so much more sense if they've got a lot lighter television, that it's a lot easier to detach and reset the associated TV brackets with these televisions accordingly. So I like it. Last important thing to note here, the 3 line items here related to demoing and removing bathrooms, kitchen, and laundries, various square footage economies of scale available here. All 3 have had the text modified to reference that they do include the removal of ductwork. So it seems like there were some impasses between contractors and adjusters using these line items here, DMO, HR, BR, to verify, hey, is ductwork included or not? And here is Xact saying, yes, it is included. Nod to some miscellaneous changes to our neighbors up north in Canada. You guys spell molding differently. So Xactware has made some changes to make sure that it's spelled properly, and some mapping in the Quebec price list as well. That's it. You can see here we've got some line items. They always give us a preview of what's coming in the next month. So September, we've got some office cubicles.
Cubicles is going to be great, man. For us in the pack out business, it has been brutal trying to figure out how to invoice for office cubicles. So I'm glad that they took that one on.
And you've got some DNR of custom frameless shower doors coming. So
yeah, that'll be helpful.
That is exciting. That's what we've got for the August 2020 Price List Update Summary. Now, as promised in the very beginning of this video, we've got 2 giveaways to perform right now. We got some stuff to give away. So, Whatley, while I get my iPad in here to show everybody the drawing, why don't you talk about Xactimate Ninjas and kind of its growth and the value of that group, or that Facebook group overall?
Okay. I didn't intend for Harrison to ask me that, but I think one of the things that's become really interesting, and when I founded that group on a whim at a park with what then was my 2-year-old, like, oh, maybe I'll start this group and we'll invite, some trainers and folks that were, known to be top tier estimators and adjusters. That's what originally we set out to do. I didn't really contemplate how powerful the search tool would be. So a lot of questions that folks come up and run up against every day can be answered not just by asking the question, but I often wonder, Harrison, like how many questions are getting answered that we never know about, that never end up being a post where somebody goes Scribe Board and they go, how do you use it? And then it's like 17 really elegant answers from both sides of the claim about when it applies, and then person answers their own question and moves on with their day, and they move on with that day successfully. I'm really proud to see how folks are using that search tool and how we're curating this knowledge base that's continuing to grow with 23 posts a day, 300 comments on average a day. That is an amazing amount of learning and empathy that's being created and fostered every day for the other side of the claim. I think that there's nobody made worse. Nobody's been made more jaded by entering our group, because we don't tolerate that kind of language, right? That would be diversive and then champion.
Right?
Yeah, we're thoughtful about managing all that. Now the group kind of manages itself. Like everybody's made more empathetic, more informed on both sides of the claim. So it's one of the things I never intended it for it to be as big a thing as it is, but it will probably be a great legacy of Actionable, and I see no reason that it wouldn't continue to grow on into 10 and 12,000 users. And I enlist you guys' support in doing so. So as you guys onboard new estimators, adjusters, invite them to the group, and we want to continue to grow it and facilitate that conversation. It's something that we really enjoy.
Absolutely, and that is why we are celebrating with this gun bag giveaway. So without further ado, I have...
But do they even know what happened? Like the idea was, why are we raffling this thing off? So I don't know, Harrison, Maria, I think put up a post that said, hey, if you invite people to the group, right, then you'll be given a ticket. And so in this case, like Matt Element, he invited 2 people that got accepted. That was the conditional. They have to be relevant. We don't accept anybody into the group. But if they're relevant and appear to display any proficiency in Exact, then we let them in the group, so on. So these folks, amongst others, have invited folks to the group. So this is what we're trying to champion. As you onboard new people into your companies, be thinking about inviting them to the Xactimate Ninjas or the Matterport Ninjas group as it be.
Exactly. Yeah, the inviting people to Xactimate Ninjas was a way to get chances to win this gun bag, as well as liking some of the posts associated with this giveaway. So I have a collection of all of the invites to Xactimate Ninjas, all of the likes. I have entered them into an app here, and it will randomly select someone. So when I hit start raffle here, it will come up with a 1, 2, 3 winner. And so, Whatley, if you're ready here, let's see who won the Actionable Insights gun bag. Looks like we've got David Houtz. David Houtz, congratulations. You have won the Actionable Insights gun bag. I will have Maria, Elliott, or myself reach out to you on Facebook with a direct message with some information so we can ship you this gun bag.
Shout out to Judd Eads over there in Utah. Gun bags actually from a fellow restorer. His sons created a company called Adrenaline Sports, and that's where we did the white labeled version of the gun bag. That's where we got it from. So keeping it in the family, folks.
And shout out to Julie Harriman, Anthony Traficante. You saw some other names up there. Those guys in second and third, they invited a lot of people to Xactimate Ninjas. It just looks like David snuck in to get that first place gun bag from them. So thank you, Julie, Anthony, for all you guys for engaging in Xactimate Ninjas. Then the most frequently used line items in July. This is something we're going to be doing every month. I'm curious to learn more about what line items you guys are using out there and most frequently. There's a report that you can run, but we'll be posting at the end of each month. So let's see who won. I'm going to hit start raffle here. And I think it's pronounced B-Rye. Like I thought, B-Rye, but no, I think it's more B-Rye.
B-Rye. Yeah, that sounds right.
From Instagram. And his line item specifically was HMR ASBR MD. So that's a hazardous asbestos related line item. So this guy's out there doing a bunch of asbestos work. Now he's going to have the opportunity to wear some scissor lift socks from Actionable Insights while he's invoicing for that.
Look out.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in today, this week, for supporting Actionable Insights, for exploring the Price List Update Summary series. Certainly some exciting new line items this month. And we're looking forward to seeing what comes out next month in September as well. So until then, enjoy, go settle some claims. Hope you have a great opportunity to restore some lives today. And hopefully we'll be seeing you soon. Let us know in the comments below what line items you're excited about. What questions you may have about those line items that we may be able to provide some clarification on. So thank you very much, and we'll see you next month.